I'm really impressed. This really is what the M2 should have been from the beginning. 2026 BMW M2 CS. Now, for those who've been watching the channel, you know that the regular G87 M2, I have mixed emotions. It's very impressive from a performance perspective, but when it comes to actual driving enjoyment, driving confidence, and connection, it leaves a bit to be desired. And the question today is, does the CS fix the G87 generation? We're powered by the S58 engine. That's a 3-liter twin turbocharged inline 6, making 523 horsepower, 479 pound-feet of torque. It's actually taken from the M3 Competition X-Drive, and it's an additional 50 horsepower and 36 pound-feet of torque versus a base M2. That's of course mated to the ZF 8-speed automatic transmission. There is no manual option with the M2 CS, and it's rear-wheel drive only. We have a 7,200 RPM redline with electric power steering, strut front, and multi-link rear, as with all these other BMW M cars. And we've saved 100 pounds over the regular M2, bringing it down to 3,770, which is wild, right? The regular M2 weighing almost 3,900 pounds. Now we're a little bit shy of 3,800. Now, in terms of what actually changes from the base to the CS, in terms of suspension, the car sits 0.3 inches lower with stiffer springs and retuned dampers. In terms of aero, we have a small front splitter, removed the front grille slats, larger rear diffuser, and a ducktail spoiler. Also, the carbon roof and carbon seats come standard, whereas it's optional in the base M2. And we have these specific 19 and 20-inch front to rear forged wheels, which I think look awesome. Actually, this whole spec looks fantastic. This darker blue with the bronze wheels, it really looks the piece. The carbon on the roof and the mirror caps as well. I think in terms of M2 specs, this is pretty spot on. Notably, we only have 59 pounds of downforce at 155 miles an hour. Don't worry, we're not going to be hitting anywhere near that today. We also have increased negative camber in the front and revised steering versus the base M2. Now, in terms of the price, the MSRP is starting at $96,000. It's optioned in this example to $104,000 before destination. And again, this gorgeous velvet blue metallic. Now, from what I've seen, ADMs on this is only about $5,000, which I think it should always be zero. But in the grand scheme of things, not terrible. According to some forum users, they're saying they're only making 2,500 of these worldwide, with only about 300 coming to the US, which surprises me because 300 out of 2,500 is a very small allocation to the US, if that's true. And usually when cars have these limited production numbers, you actually see a much higher percentage of them coming to the US. But those are just the rumors. BMW hasn't actually officially confirmed how many of these they're making. The same interior you've come to know from this generation of BMW M car. Nice carbon fiber. The steering wheel with the Alcantara, nice and chunky. This is actually a really nice steering wheel. I like that quite a bit. The seat goes so low. I'm in fact almost borderline too low. 6'1", 180 pounds, but I like that you have that adjustability. And the steering wheel also comes out quite a bit. Good seating position. Pretty sporty as well. Feet can be far out. Steering wheel closer to your body. And I still don't understand why they have this piece right here so large. We jokingly call it the nut holder, but whatever it's for, you know, as it can dig into your leg like it is right now when I'm on the brake. In terms of drive modes here, we're going to start with everything in the most aggressive setting. And we're off. Jeez, this thing is a rocket! Already, this car feels quite a bit more confidence-inspiring than a regular base M2. I feel like the base M2 can feel so numb and so floaty, but already, wow. Saving a bit of weight, firming things up, retuning the E-Pass completely transforms the car. Carbon buckets and the new suspension getting definitely more communication through the chassis, but even through the steering, whatever they've done here, it still is very quick, a faster ratio than I would like. If you dial it back a little bit, it becomes easier to actually place the car. Oh yeah, you can even feel that hint of yaw at the rear axle. Wow, that's impressive. Let's go into manual mode here. We have the transmission in the fastest speed, so you can see those 3 bars right there next to 3. Now let's get this down to second. Yeah, very quick shifts. You can get a bit of that torque dip, which adds to the drama, and if you want that, then awesome. Fast, quick, hard-hitting shifts. And if not, you dial this back now into 2. And just like that, still quite quick shifts, a little bit dialed back, but far smoother. Now let's actually change the engine to sport, because that throttle response is a little bit sensitive. There we go. A bit higher resolution to the throttle pedal now. I'm really impressed. This really is what the M2 should have been from the beginning. Oh yeah, you can really feel, again, BMWs, they always want to kick the tail out. But overall, the car, I mean, the biggest thing is the steering and the suspension. You feel, I mean, the additional power is nice. I don't feel like the original M2 needed more power. The biggest thing here is just how much more planted the car is. And when the car is more planted, right, the damping quality is actually still really excellent, because normally when you have a car that weighs 3,700 pounds, then, you know, to give good body control, you have a very harsh, choppy ride. And that's not the case here. You actually have really good quality damping and good body control. Is it sporty? Can you feel the road textures? Of course, but not in a punishing way. The base M2, it just feels a bit like you need to wait for this thing to heave around and set, and it delays your input to the car's output, and then you can't trust it, because, you know, as you give the input, you're expecting one thing, but then you have to wait, and then see what actually happens from the car. So this suspension is much more immediate, far more buttoned down, big improvement over the base M2. And the steering as well doesn't have that weird, it's still not the most communicative E-Pass, but it has, you know, a little bit of road texture. It's very direct, very precise. Traction limited again. This is a bit of a damp road. Yeah, the steering is not giving you dynamic loading mid-corner, but it still feels a bit more natural in this application. Getting a bit more texture, and combined with the suspension changes, really a big difference in terms of the enjoyment behind the wheel. Tons of power, and when you get the proper M engines like the S58 here, you get that nice linear pull despite it being twin turbocharged. And once it's spooled up, I mean, even here at 4,000 RPM, you're not getting a ton of lag. Now, as for the brakes, let's go down to comfort. Okay, requiring more travel to get the same stopping. Back to sport. Yeah, I'm preferring sport here. Brakes aren't my favorite part, if I'm being honest, but I can live with it. Very much a car that is on its toes and wants to dance with you. It's like a golden retriever wagging its tail, wanting to play. And unlike the base M2, this time you can actually play with it with confidence. And we're back to the fastest shift mode. Sometimes the shifts are smooth, sometimes not so much. I'm not sure how that exactly works, but you can feel each shift. There's either a small or larger torque dip between, which I don't mind. Give me the faster shift. Give me a bit of that drama as well. Yeah, see, the thing with the brakes is that they don't have, there's enough like ability to modulate as you get in them, and you can then very finely tune your brake pressure, but the thing I don't like about them is that they're just like they're a bit on the softer side, and they're requiring more travel even in the sport mode than I would prefer for a car like this one. The other inputs, like the steering is so quick, so if I need so little input to the steering to change directions, then why do I need to give so much brake? You know, it's just not congruent with everything else. It almost feels like the steering is very modern, the transmission is very modern, the engine, of course, very modern with this power delivery and overall performance, but the brakes, not as much. Bravo, BMW, you have fixed the M2. I just wish that the base M2 was closer to this, because this is a far better driving experience. And the thing is, this is still a BMW M car in the sense that modern BMWs still tend to be more numb. And it's not like all of a sudden you have something that's like a Lotus Elise, by no means. But now you're directionally getting it closer to something like an E46 M3, where you can actually feel a bit of what's happening through the wheels and through the chassis, and you have more confidence with the car. Because when you're driving a car hard, that's what you want. It's, communication is fun, but communication also is what allows you to push the car much harder than you otherwise would. See, even over that big bump, single compression, I think the suspension in this mode is actually probably best for this road in sport. We can even go to comfort, dial it back further. And now it's ever so slightly underdamped. I think sport is where it's at. And let's change the steering to comfort as well. Yeah, when it gets this light, I don't know, I'm one that definitely prefers a slightly heavier ratio than average, so let's go back to sport. I mean, if you want a BMW M2 and you want to push the car and have fun, I mean, the CS is the way to go. You still have the great engine, you're not making more power, but the powertrain, the engine transmission combination, super smooth, super quick shifts. They can give you that drama if you want, or they can be smooth if you want. Incredible performance ceiling, but now again, you have that added communication and fun factor that I think was sorely lacking in the base M2. My friends, let me know what you think of the BMW M2 CS of the G87 generation. Is it worth the price premium over the base M2, or should you get a base M2 and then modify that yourself? Let me know with a comment down below. Big shout out to the owner Jared for letting me review his M2 CS. And if you want your car reviewed, visit us on jubbalandcars.com. Fill out the form on the homepage. Much love, my friends, and I'll see you all in that next one.